season matchup in Buell Stadium. Don't worry, there will be plenty of playoff action here as well. Millard South hosting Lincoln High. The Patriots looking to bounce back from their lone loss of the season last week to West Side. First quarter, running back Nolan Feller weaving in and out of traffic, then thrown out of bounds, but not before he gets a 26-yard pickup, ball on the 2. Next play, Feller gets the pitch because he's got some unfinished business, and that business taken care of in the end zone. Number 7 on the season for the senior. Patriots up 7-0. Later in the first quarter, quarterback jet to Mala to receiver Marion Jackson, and there he goes. See you later. Another tutty for the receiver. South leads 14-zip. Time winding down in the first quarter, running back Dax Williams 5 yards into the end zone. A lot more of that from the South boys, who go on to have a 75-0 win, and Millard South improves to 8-1.